Hello everybody, long time no see. I have been rather off of YouTube. It really feels strange to be talking in front of this camera. It's almost like going back 5 years, whereas previously, with such routine use, it became almost second nature. It's a strange feeling again to do this again. I guess you can fall off the bicycle. But anyway, I wanted to just turn the camera on. I'm very moved this morning. I don't want to get run over by the across the street. Pardon me. To pay attention. Here we go. Let's cross the street. Trucks and cars. So what have I been up to? If you're interested, if you're curious, this is another me video. Nothing else than that. Oh, no, I'm going to talk about somebody else. So there's somebody important. Actually, I'm going to talk about somebody that I've just become more familiar with, who moved me so much just this morning that I wanted to turn the camera on. I've been away for a while, and I've been doing a lot of consideration about what my time left in this world, how it can be best used. Now, clearly, my role as a father and a husband are paramount. But in addition to that, I have my bits of free time, my little bit of time to ponder the universe in various and sundry ways, and to walk along the streets, and to make videos, and to walk in the hills, and to speak maybe about things that might make a difference, or hopefully so. And I'm more and more leaning towards the idea that it's the high time at this point in my life. The sun is high. The sun is starting to go down. That I need to do something worthwhile, more worthwhile, and that worthwhile thing will most likely be to engage more fully in the fight against religion, which I see as one of the great, basically dogma. That's the better term, but for the most part, most religions are, in essence, dogma. It's the very nature of it to basically to provide a canned answer, someone else's distillation of truth from the observation of the universe that is accepted by others, rather than going through the effort of finding ourselves. Now, we all engage in that to a various degree. The whole foundation of science is, in essence, dogma, the dogma of past experimentation that is passed on. But it's a bit different because it runs through the rigors of the scientific method, the demand for replication, for accountability, for falsification, which is a different type of dogma. It's a dogma that's based upon consensus to agree from one's peers and from the peers of those who have gone before, and then retest and consideration. It builds one upon another, and all it takes is one single experiment further down the line to bring the whole thing collapsing down, such as what happened with Einstein, when which would happen with Newtonian physics. Basically, Einstein upended the whole thing. Now, we still use Newtonian physics. It's very useful. It's what sent people to the moon, basically. But for the most part, we know that it's an incomplete thing. So I'm kind of getting off target here. But what I want to say is, science is dogma. Much of what we have is in human civilization is dogma, because we can't do it all alone. We need to have our team effort. But there's a very different type of dogma. The dogma being, of course, if I should define that term as I'm using it, dogma being, of course, the acceptance of results distilled by others from observation. So someone else has an epiphany, so an aha moment, and then shares that with us, and we accept that as truth. Now, so scientific dogma is different because it requires experimentation. Religious dogma is something that is based on faith, and people just buy because of a convincing argument, because of a moving emotional experience, or some sort of a revelation that may occur that causes them to agree with what is proposed by others. So in my whole life, what I advocate in terms of spiritual elements is basically, for the most part, I don't advocate spiritual elements. That I advocate the pursuit of it, but not the acceptance of what we feel, but it's rather the acceptance of what we can prove. But so I would rather see, for me and mine, that we experience what is the dogma that is presented, and then base our consideration upon what can best be proven to us. So those organizations that claim that faith is required to agree, that you simply have to believe, you have to overcome your innate critical capacities, which is a beautiful thing that we can do as human beings, this innate ability to be able to criticize the world around us, to critically evaluate the world, to weigh what we see, and to make decisions about things. That is critical, and any belief system that asks us to give that up, to simply accept what is faithful, I don't go for that. I think that that's that robs us of the wonder of these minds that we have that are able to apprehend the wide world around us and think about it. It takes that away. We no longer have to do that. We have the answers, and we stop thinking. We stop looking. We stop questioning. I think that's a great injustice to individuals and to human society. So I want to fight that. I want to fight dogma, and by extension, for the most part, religion. I want to become more active in that and more engaged, and I'm trying to think about, I've been kind of away for a while, trying to think about how I'm going to do that, how am I going to engage that. And one of the things that I have to do is to overcome my fear of rejection, criticism, anger that will invariably arise in more than I've ever known. You know, as when I first started on YouTube, over on the Softy Papa channel, I never got any of that kind of stuff because it was the most G-rated, non-confrontational thing I've ever done. More and more, I've been gradually moving away from that, sharing my true heart with people, and a lot of people don't like it, and I have to get comfortable with that. So, why am I making this video? Well, I realized this morning that the challenges that I face as a 21st century atheist are nothing compared to the challenges that those who went before me. Particularly, I'm thinking about Thomas Huxley. I was reading, Thomas Huxley was called Darwin's bulldog, whereas Darwin, the man one of the men who formulated the theories of evolution, natural selection, in his book Origin of Species, Darwin was non-confrontational. He didn't really get out and do a lot of public speaking and bring his message out. Thomas Huxley did that for him. He was called Darwin's bulldog, as many people know. And I was reading about how the arenas of criticism, the organizations that he spoke to, bringing forth an idea that was truly heretical in many ways, that into a society and in a time where it was just one step away from being burnt at the stake for such ideas. In many places, you're still that way. But here in Japan, I'm not in that case. I'm basically in an atheist country for the most part. I'm as safe as you could possibly imagine. I can basically explain my ideas, share my thoughts, do whatever I want, and all I have to worry about is that some people aren't going to like me or talk to me anymore. Thomas Huxley had to deal with incredible opposition and criticism, and basically creating a world, basically creating a system of argument that had never been done before. Now, he can be forgiven for coming up with, he basically coined the term agnostic, and he did that in order to couch, to basically provide a cushion against some of the criticism. If he came out and said, I'm an atheist, there are people who would just reject him outright. But if he said I was an agnostic, they would at least have an ear to what he, bend an ear to what he would say. So, I mean, basically agnostic is as Penn Jillette will say, and others have said, agnostic is basically, the word agnostic is basically a way to ease tension. Really I am an atheist fully, and that's what I want to express. And I want to fight religion. I want to fight dogma. I want to use these remaining decades of my life, and hopefully they're decades, to good use. And I have to have some courage to do that. But I realize now that the amount of courage that I need to muster is nothing compared to what those who have gone before me have done. And if they can do it for the betterment of humanity, for the betterment of individuals, and for the good to make good use of the life that we have, then by golly, I need to do the same thing, because the task that I face is nothing compared to theirs. So let me try to muster my courage, muster my will, rosin up the bow, so to speak, and hopefully as soon as I'm ready, don't wait around, just get to it, Kurt. Who knows? You may be dead tomorrow. You got to start talking about it now. So I'm going to try to follow Thomas Huxley's example, a new hero of mine, in supporting the quest of sharing, of fighting against the simple adoption of other ideas, of other people's ideas, for the convenience of not needing to answer the questions ourselves. There, I'm going to try to do that. Fighting dogma and religion. Here we go. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Towards the idea that it's the high time at this point in my life. The sun is high. The sun is starting to go down. That I need to do something worthwhile, more worthwhile, and that worthwhile thing will most likely be to engage more fully in the fight against religion, which I see as one of the great, basically dogma that in a husband are paramount. But in addition to that, I have my bits of free time, my little bit of time to ponder the universe in various and sundry ways, and to walk along the streets, and to make videos, and to walk in the hills, and to speak maybe about things that might make a difference, or hopefully so. And I'm more and more leaning toward. I've just become more familiar with who moved me so much just this morning that I want to turn the camera on. I've been away for a while, and I've been doing a lot of consideration about what my time left in this world, how it can be best used. Now, clearly, my role as a father. Hello, everybody. Long time no see. I have been rather off of YouTube. It really feels strange to be talking in front of this camera. It's almost like going back 5 years, whereas previously, with such routine use, it became almost second nature. It's a strange feeling again to do this again. I guess you can fall off the bicycle. But anyway, I wanted to just turn the camera on. I'm very moved this morning, and I don't want to get run over across the streets. Pardon me. To pay attention. Here we go. Let's cross the street. Trucks and cars. So what have I been up to? If you're interested, if you're curious, this is another me video. Nothing else than that. Oh, no, I'm going to talk about somebody else. So there's somebody important. Actually, I'm going to talk about somebody that